The Fate of the Furious. Now, The Fate of the Furious is Chapter 8 in the Fast and Furious franchise. Let that concept sink in. There are 8 movies of the Fast and Furious franchise out there. That's insane. I remember back in the days when the first one came out, it was like, oh, that's a kick-ass illegal street race movie. Yeah. Oh my, how things have changed. I mean, this franchise has gotten more absurd and ridiculous with every single entry. And I think it was part 5 that turned it into a heist franchise. And in part 6, they took on a plane and a battle tank. Yeah, this time around, it's even more ridiculous. But now let's talk about the plot. Yeah, there actually is a plot to this movie. So, Vin Diesel, aka Dominic Torreto, and Letty, aka Michelle Rodriguez, they're on their honeymoon, and lo and behold, Charlize Theron's character pops up. She's got something on Vin Diesel, and now his team has to go up against the one thing they have never faced before. Vin Diesel. Yeah, because he's gone rogue. And now we got our movie. Now I'm telling you, going into these movies, I already know what to expect normally. I know that I have to suspend disbelief. I know that I have to suspend everything I know about gravity or physics, because these movies, they're not realistic and they're not supposed to be realistic. I mean, they never took themselves seriously, especially not ever since part 5. Yeah, right around that time is where it really got ridiculous. But hey, I was down for that because I have a soft spot for that franchise in my heart. However, this time around, I really gotta say this movie left me speechless because I have mixed feelings about this film. There's like, for every scene that I love, there is something that I hate. Me being a positive guy, let's address the positives first. From the get-go, when the film starts, I was like, oh yeah, this is everything I love about the Fast and Furious films. Vin Diesel being all Vin Diesel-ish. There was an actual street racing sequence where I was like, oh, that's fun. Yeah, it's a callback to the original. And the one-liners. And yeah, the dialogue. I mean, it's shit. And it's a no-shit scenario. You know that the dialogue is supposed to be shit. But yeah, it is noticeable. And I like the characters. Yeah, I think they're all charming. None of these actors are like super A-class actors. Except for Charlize Theron and Kurt Russell. But yeah, I like the chemistry between these characters. First of all, I think the Fast and Furious franchise has always been good at integrating new characters and giving them more screen time in the ongoing features. Kurt Russell is a welcome return. The hot chick from Game of Thrones is a welcome return. And part of me really liked where they went with Jason Statham, because the chemistry and the banter between him and The Rock is awesome. However, they sort of turn him into an anti-hero slash good guy, which pretty much nullifies the last film, but fuck it, who cares about continuity in the Fast and Furious franchise. And The Rock gets a lot more screen time. That was one of my biggest issues with the last one. He was barely in it. This time around, oh yeah, he's in it and he's an absolute scene stealer. But the fact that Vin Diesel is not with the team for most of the runtime really compromised the experience for me a little bit. I see that they were taking chances with this one, but it really didn't work for me. And I felt like I was watching 2 different films, because all the stuff with Vin Diesel is supposed to be super, super serious. There's even one segment where I was like, oh, that's dark. Like, that's super dark, especially for the Fast and the Furious films. And then cuts back to his team and it's all funny and makes no sense whatsoever. And the action in this film, I didn't necessarily love the action too much. Granted, I love the couple fighting sequences and all of them involve The Rock. But the actual car crashing sequences, yeah, not really. Not only didn't they make sense whatsoever, but hey, again, it's the Fast and Furious, but they kind of look like shit, and I'm sorry to be so honest about it. The CGI was quite noticeable. And near the end of the film, it turned into the Fast and the Furious, the G.I. Joe edition. Seriously, because like I said, they took on a Russian submarine in order to prevent World War III from happening. I mean,
Boy, That escalated quickly.
This time around, I felt like this movie was actually kind of dragging, and it suffered from its own plot. And the plot itself was not interesting, but they tried so desperately to give us an actual plot that it just came off as very indulgent. So here I am going back and forth, and it hurts me to say, but The Fate of the Furious is a time stealer. Yeah, I believe at this point it would be a good time to stop this franchise. I absolutely understand people who say, oh, I loved it. I absolutely relate to people who call this movie a massive piece of shit. I'm somewhere in the middle, to be honest, because yeah, it's kind of both. But yeah, how are they gonna top that with the next one? Because apparently there is gonna be a Chapter 9 and a Chapter 10. So what's next? Are they gonna send him to space? Are they going up against the Avengers in Infinity War? Because if they are, I think chances are that they might actually win. But yeah, it gets more and more ridiculous. So the Fast and Furious 8 or the Fate of the Furious, no matter what you want to call it, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comment section below. And thank you guys, as always, for watching. And if you like what you see here and you want to see more, then just subscribe.